Feminism is not about hating men.
Feminism. Feminism, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. That is the definition of feminism. Gay, a homosexual male or female. That is the definition of gay. They do not coincide. And lately, we've been bombarded with men stating that if you are a feminist, you are gay. And this is in fact not true. I just gave you the definition of feminism, and I also gave you the definition of gay. The feminist movement started because women suffered a great deal. We had no rights. Right now, I'm speaking on black women, African American, indigenous women, women of color, melanated women, whatever you want to, whatever umbrella you want to stand under. Pretty much in those days, after slavery ended, um, men weren't sold anymore, but women were, girls. The age of consent was actually 10 years old. So if a man came along and he had land, cattle, cash, and your parent, your father, was in need of those things or wanted to do business with this man, and he wanted to take you on as his wife, regardless of your age, that was going to happen. That was going to be the deal. You were going to be sold to this man in trade for money or land or cattle. Women had no right to vote. They had no right to make any decisions in the home. It was all up to the men. Um, Women were often beaten and raped by their own husbands because you had no right. Women, just think about being on your daily routine of going to the store, going to get eggs and bread, and having two or three men just jump out and decide they were going to take you. There was no police officer that was going to help you. There was no one you could turn to. There were no domestic violence shelters. There was nothing. There were no hotlines. You were left to just deal with being raped and battered. And so over time, women became tired of that struggle, tired of being abused, tired of being raped and beaten. So they decided to protest. White women were the first women to, I want to say, activate feminism. They were the first group to pretty much have the right to do so. So when we came along, it was called, we were under, I think, women's liberation. And it was pretty much the same thing. The only thing was black women didn't want to turn over their husbands or their abusers to the police because they felt that black men had already suffered enough under the hands of authority, whether that been on the plantation or just under police authority. So they wanted to have a way to deal with their husbands who were abusing them and not allowing them to work and, just thrive as an individual. So they wanted to have like something like what the Indians have, like a tribunal. I think that's what it is. Or just like your own self government where you handle things within, your own. But that didn't really work out because in pop the 80s and we saw, I grew up in the 80s as a kid, and I saw a lot of domestic violence, and I saw it in thousands of other young black girls witnessed it as well. Whether it been inside of the homes or whether it was just while you were out in the streets, you were gonna witness it. And over time, women were tired of it. And in pop the 90s, girl, and we had strong female positive influences like Queen Latifah, MC Light, TLC, and what they did was they gave 90s girls like a freedom to say like you have a voice and it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to express your sexuality and it's okay to lead. You no longer have to hide behind a man and, you know, not have your own opinion and not express yourself, whether it be in an art form or your sexuality. Um, and I appreciate those women for doing that. They were groundbreaking, and they're the reasons why women have a lot of a leeway that they have now in hip hop because of these women, and they help to change the narrative where women were told like you just have to get married and like however you're treated in the marriage you just have to deal with it even if you're being abused physically, mentally, verbally. You just had to go along with that. And these women were like, no, you don't. If he's not treating you right, you could kick him to the curb. If you need to be by yourself for a while, you can do that, and that's okay. If you get married, that's wonderful. If you don't, you're still valued. And you still have the right to express yourself and, be free. Coretta Scott King was a feminist. After Martin Luther King Jr. passed away, her husband, senior, excuse me, after he passed away. No, junior, I'm sorry. Whatever. Um, After he passed away, she continued his legacy. She started the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change. She founded that. And basically what they did, just to put it short, is that they basically prepped scholars to carry on King's legacy. And a woman got her husband's birthday made into a national holiday. She fought for that. And being a woman and then being a black woman on top of that, I'm quite sure that was a hell of a fight for her. It wasn't easy, because in those days, women they looked at women as they should be, in the kitchen and seen and not heard, and yes, you look nice, smile, look pretty for the cameras, and then that's it. They really didn't want to hear your opinions or your thoughts. And today, I find that they still don't. Amber Rose is a feminist, like her style or not. She is a feminist, and she just basically feels like she should be able to express her sexuality through dress, through photos, through lifestyle. And she's 100% correct. It's her choice to do so. She has that freedom to do so, whether you like it or not, or whether we feel it's morally correct or not, is just our opinion. And that's it. But we don't have the right to hinder her or any other woman. And I wanted to shoot this video because I was constantly hearing, even myself, I was called a stupid feminist who knows nothing. And I've been called gay because I'm opinionated. And I'm not afraid to express my opinion. And I express it in a strong way. At least I believe so. And, a lot of men will have a problem with that. But really, we're not against men. Like, we love men. Now, there were some women within the feminist movement telling you that, you don't need a man and, you don't have to have a man. And that's not necessarily everybody's thought and feeling about the matter. A lot of us, we're okay with being married and we're even okay with being submissive in certain circumstances. However, we do not feel that we should be silenced in the marriage and that we should be subject to abuse within the marriage. We want to be treated as an equal partner. Like, what I do matters just as well as what you do matters. And that's all feminism is. We just want equal rights. If you look at what's going on, they were trying to remove contraceptives. Well, I think they did. They relieved religious organizations from having to provide contraceptives to women. And I believe there was some type of collusion to within the government and insurance companies to make it more difficult. Whether you're against abortion or not, it is the right of a woman, and they are trying to pretty much put an end to that right. So, you know, you can't blame women for being upset and rising up because we're just wondering what is next. With all of the scandals coming out of Hollywood, for an example, with all of the guys, you see that this male chauvinism is still heavily present within industries and business. What women have to go through, have to be sexually harassed and, you know, touched and raped and, you know, and they're not supposed to say anything about it. And this stuff has been going on for decades. So, you know, I'm actually proud of those women for coming out and telling their stories, regardless to how anyone feels about it, male or female, because it's been going on for too long and we all know it. And a lot of us have been victim to it. And because we choose to keep it quiet and we want to forget about it and we want it to go away, we tend to get angry with other women for speaking out. And that's something that we definitely need to stop doing. We need to support each other in this movement because it's not about hating men. It's not about not wanting to be married. It's not about being gay. It's about having equality for women.